people? Your boy Hunter here. So we're gonna talk today about the 𝗕𝗟𝗥. This is the first station in Hyrox. I watched so many people have trouble with the 𝗕𝗟𝗥, and I really wanna nail down what you guys need to do to have a better 𝗕𝗟𝗥. It's the station that I love to kick ass in, and if you guys could just start your race off with a really good station, I feel like the rest of it's gonna be absolute magic. So nail your ski, nail your race. So I'm gonna show you guys a couple strokes. Three tips for performance. One, reach high. If you're tall, reach as high as you can. If you're short, reach as high as you can. Doesn't matter. Second point of performance is get yourself a good power stance. I like to have basically the midsole of my foot in line with where the bars are, these little screws. And then last but not least, guys, I like to have my eye contact come down to the actual C2 mid-circle of the fan. If you can nail those things, guys, from there, it's just all about the pull, the cadence, and now we're gonna talk about how you can actually nail it in the gym when you don't have a 𝗕𝗟𝗥. So we're gonna talk about the muscle groups of the 𝗕𝗟𝗥. First off, guys, you cannot ignore that a lot of it has to do with your arms. So it's gonna be really reaching up, working on a little bit of a pull, but a lot of tricep. So this whole muscle group right here, if you guys have really weak arms, you're gonna suck at the 𝗕𝗟𝗥. Okay, so next, guys, I wanna talk about the lats. That's that pull motion right here. If you guys don't have a 𝗕𝗟𝗥 at home, you guys can do a lot of pullovers to really work on closing this chain right here and having the strongest muscle groups possible. Those lats are gonna be the biggest driver. Next thing I wanna talk to you guys about is you're always gonna wanna come up on your calves. So if you guys do not use those calves to get that extra couple inches of height and then a pull through, it's gonna make a big difference on the amount of power that you're able to get out of it. Those extra inches of range of motion are extra watts on the 𝗕𝗟𝗥. And then last but not least, guys, abs. If you guys have a weak core, you're gonna have a really hard time doing this. I did a lot of research when I was getting ready to get into paddling. I saw that these rowers, canoe athletes, even cross-country skiers were doing so much core work. They weren't doing all this weightlifting. The midsection is what's tying the lower body to the upper body, and if you have a weak core, you're gonna waste a ton of power. So my first favorite move when it comes to 𝗕𝗟𝗥, if you do not have one, is atomic push-ups. So you guys are here, you're gonna come down and you're gonna draw in. So you're working your triceps like I told you guys about, you're working your lats and you're working your abs. So if you can crank out a bunch of these, you'll notice you'll get a lot better core connection and have a lot more strength and stability in your arms when it comes to doing really, really heavy watts on the 𝗕𝗟𝗥, especially for whatever kind of body type you have. These kind of level of advanced calisthenics can really transfer over. My second favorite movement, guys, if you have a pull-up bar, is gonna be what's called an L-sit chin-up. Okay, if you guys don't have this, try just do a knee-up chin-up. So what you guys can do, L-sit. So what you're doing is you're working all those lats like I told you about, working your arms, but you're also focusing on core tension. So you're holding that range of motion, that pull, and locking in your abs, which will train you later on to lock in your abs for when you guys are doing the 𝗕𝗟𝗥. If you guys don't have that level of advancement, you can just be here and just have your knees out. Pretty cool stuff. Next movement we're gonna talk about is a ball slam. So this can really train you guys to use your full range of motion and slam down with all of your weight. So what that looks like, guys, is all the way up. You wanna think about the same exact thing when you're doing the 𝗕𝗟𝗥, down, down. So if you guys are not used to that, I watch a lot of people who do the 𝗕𝗟𝗥 and like to come out here and go like this. You have to really get that full range of motion. So train it with a full extension, ball slam. So the next move we're gonna talk about is the dumbbell pullover. This one right here is awesome for strength of just working on closing that chain, locking in your arms. So guys, get yourself a nice dumbbell, get yourself good positioning, drag it over, and pull over the top and lock in all those muscles. Stretch it back and pull over. That right there, guys, is really gonna help you build up these lats and these triceps and your chest, which all of those muscle groups end up being very active during a really intense ski session or in the middle of a race. So here's what I like to do in my off season. I train this all the way up throughout the year. I do shorter intervals to start, and then I work my way up to 500s to 1000s and 2000s. So the first workout you guys should do in your off season is go to custom list, Go to 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Sprint for as intensely as you can hold for 30 seconds, and then rest 30 seconds. And I'll hold this anywhere from 15 to 30 rounds, and it really helps me build up that intensity, power, and positioning. Then after that, guys, you can go into workouts like the typical 2,000 meter time trial, or you can go next, which I would suggest is 500 meters with a minute rest in between. You do about 10 of those sets, build yourself up to 2,000s, build yourself up to 5,000s, and it will really make a big difference. But always starting out with 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off at the beginning of every season to build up intensity and positioning is a really awesome way to get started with the ski erg. Let's talk about how to improve your row time. Hyrox rowing is a very complicated and long station. You know, you take a seat, you start ripping on this thing, but it's one of the most daunting and longest stations of all of them. So for me, I really like to focus on rowing in my off season, but I don't just focus on sitting on a rower, I focus on all of the aspects of what's gonna make me stronger on the rower when I get there. So I'll show you guys how we start rowing. You get in there, good stance, good pullback. Now if you focus on this, what you're gonna notice, guys, is the muscle groups, the tops of the quads, the arms, the back, and your core being able to pull back and drive all that energy through your legs into your upper body. So we're gonna show you how to train that real quick from home. So let's talk about the muscle groups that are involved in rowing. First off, quads, baby. You gotta really kick through those ham hocks. So if you do not have strong quads, it is going to make a big difference in the amount of force that you can generate on each pull. Glutes as well, squat down, driving out of there. Your entire thigh, leg, and glute structure is basically gonna be the main driver of the force that you have. Next, guys, what we're gonna talk about is the muscles of the lower back that go into the glutes, into the legs, and connect to the lats that are really pulling and forcing all of that energy up into the upper body as you pull through. So you guys really, really need to work on focusing on having powerful glutes into a lower back, or you're gonna waste so much time and energy on this. And especially going on to the next station, if you're burnt out just from the rower, it's gonna wreck the rest of your race. And last but not least, guys, we're gonna talk about the upper back where you're pulling through and following through on the entire rower. And lastly, going into those biceps. I can even notice sometimes when I'm not in my best shape, my arms are really the first thing that blow out on the rower. So make sure that you guys have great conditioning through your arms so that those big muscles like your legs and your ass can make a big difference. First move we're gonna talk about is called back extensions. Right here, guys, you're using the weight of your body to lean forward, and then you're using your lower back and your glutes to come back up. I really love to do super high rep back extensions in the off season because that's exactly what you're gonna be doing in the in season. You're gonna be doing things like sled drags, rowing, building up those glutes and that lower back stamina is a game changer. So get in here, guys, try to focus on getting a couple hundred reps of these in a week, and it will make a massive difference with your stamina on the rower. So guys, the next move we're gonna talk about is the TRX, or suspension rower. This is one of my favorite movements. You can get tons of reps in here, and it really builds up your core, your stability, and your arms and upper back. So I get in here and I just try to pump out as many reps as I can, and I try to focus on having a consistent cadence that follows the path of what I would do on the rower. So you can either go overhand grip, side grip, underhand grip. You can hit it multiple ways, and it will really add a lot of stamina and strength to those muscle groups that you'll be using on the rower. One way I like to finish out my workout is with banded bicep curls. So this right here, there's only 10 pounds in each hand. You can notice it's very, very light. And I'll just sit here and I'll put a timer on for 3 to 5 minutes, and I'll just pump these bad boys out. So the last thing you guys wanna have happen is have a little muscle group like a bicep get in the way of you having a really powerful row. Now this right here isn't gonna add a ton of size to your arms, but it will add the ability to hold endurance throughout time, and especially in a really long race like a Hyrox. So I'll just sit here and do it, pause for a little bit if I have to, get right back to it, start taking away chunks of 10, 15, 20 reps, have a little pause, and over time you'll realize that your body gets a lot fitter at doing these, so that when you're starting to do something like a row, your arms have the stamina to last the whole time.